We'll talk about what happened yesterday. But I'm here today. I made it, and it's not too late, and it's perfect timing. Right? Yeah. Okay. Let's make sure that everything's working. Looks like mic is working. Um, camera's working. Okay. It's coming up on YouTube. So that's great. Let me get chat set up. Great. Oh, we are cooking with gas today. Let me get the link tree in the chat. Oh man, the chat takes so long to come up. So long to come up. Well, how was everybody's week? Well, I'm waiting for this. Hopefully, everyone had a good week. My week was weird and crazy. I'll explain more in just a moment. Let me not forget what I'm doing and getting this link in here. Judy! Hi! It's good to see you. Thank you for being here. Oh my gosh, wow. Okay, there we go. I was about to say, me and YouTube were about to fight. It was taking so long for this chat to come up just so I could post this link and pin it. Oh, oh, I'm so good. Okay, let me not. We just got started, so let me not say too much too soon. Gotta jinx it. How was your week? Did you have a good week? The energy was pretty intense this week, at least for me. Um, but it was a good week. It was a good week. So this whole week, well, not the whole week, maybe starting like Tuesday. Yeah, probably like Tuesday evening. I all of a sudden was getting very big rushes of energy and messages. Um, that's only ever happened like two other times in my life, but it's so much energy and so many messages that I kind of go into like a trance state, um and I have to sleep a lot. And what happened, see what had happened yesterday is I went into a rest period of resting and rested a little bit too much. I woke up and Koala was live, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess we're not doing a live today. It's okay. Hi, Embrace Your Wellness. It's good to see you. Thanks for being here. But we're here today. We're here today. So hopefully everybody had a good week. And it's Saturday. I gotta keep reminding myself that it is Saturday, not Friday, not Sunday. It's Saturday. Um, Let me get our starting statement up so we can open up our space, and you be thinking about what you'd like to put on the list for today. Since we weren't here yesterday, I'll take anything, of course, hip hop, but also any other numbers, words that we may have missed yesterday. Okay, let me open this up and then I'll get back in the chat to make sure I don't miss anything. Okay. Welcome to Vibrant Numerals. Welcome to my sacred temple opportunity space. Welcome to healing with laughter, joy, peace, contemplation, and discomfort. Welcome to Vibrant Numerals. Woo! So now our space is open and ready for all the messages and everything that we need to discuss. Great. Okay, so let me see. There and there. Okay, now we're good. All right, so let me look in the chat. Oh, yeah. Oh, you know what? And Judy, that makes sense right now because the some of the planetary movements right now, especially because we're going into retrograde season, and we could talk about that more today. Um, it's going to highlight more of those areas, especially the areas of creativity. And we are supposed to be working, have a career in our most highly creative spaces. Like, we're not meant to, like, um, be in our like pocket of creativity only at home or outside of work. It's supposed to be both, but hmm, the world we live in doesn't always work that way, but that would be the goal. So keeping that in mind hopefully will help. Um, okay, what needs to go on the list for today? We will definitely start with last week's vibration of the week, which was 471. And then we will end with then we will end with our vibration for this week. Yes. Oh yeah. You know what? Embrace I'm just going to call you Embrace. Even though I love the full name, that's why I always use it. Embrace your wellness. It just resonates so well. But yeah, so we could actually talk about retrograde season and eclipse season because they usually come together. Um, Retrograde season, and we'll talk about eclipse season. And this actually will tie in with what we're seeing and feeling with hip hop's shift. So we can tie all that together as one. So that's great. Oh yeah, let me make sure that we put the 8/12/26 eclipse. Is that eclipse, is that the lunar eclipse, or is that total solar eclipse? Because we should have two coming up. One lunar, one solar. Eva, it's so good to see you. I hope you're doing well. It was so great having you on Wednesday as part of the conversation. That's great. Okay, yeah, we can look at oh, okay. Thank you, Embrace. So this is a total solar eclipse. Do we, because I don't know off the top of my head, can you look up when the lunar eclipse is? It's probably like 2 or 3 months after the solar eclipse, because it usually either comes before or after, and I never remember which is which. Good, I'm glad you're good, Eva. Okay, Judy, we'll add the phrase "we outside." Okay. And we could have probably room for one more. I'll leave a space here if anybody else has anything. Um, or if somebody comes in and has something to add, we'll put it there at 4. And then 5 will be our weekly vibration. Our weekly vibration number. There we go. Cool. Okay. I gotta drink lots of water today. Because Man, the way this energy has been flowing in has been insane. I'll talk about that more with that number two also, because that's part of what's happening also. Okay. Mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Oh, before I forget, um, so on Wednesday we looked at the word name for the My Word is Bond series, and that form is still up. So if you have songs or lyrics related to name that include a name or it uses the word name, you can get to that form. And I've also added the form for this coming week's word, which is home. So any lyrics, songs that use the word home or are describing home. Oh yeah, Thursday. Thanks, Judy. Um, you can find that form also. Both of those forms you can find in the link, that Linktree link that is pinned, and you can put in your songs and your lyrics, and then it'll be part of our lyric wheel. So we'll spin and see how songs and lyrics can help us get some more understanding. um Eva's song got chosen on Thursday, so that was cool and exciting. So did Josh's. I'm really liking that series, so hopefully you all are enjoying it also. Okay. And that one is the super late night one, so hopefully anyone in different time zones like Europe and Asian time zones um will be able to make at least part of it. All right. So, last week's vibration. So, back up, back up a minute. Let's not make assumptions. I keep saying that, and I don't know why. Don't make assumptions. Let's not make assumptions. Maybe that's my lesson for the moment. Um, we every week on Saturdays we spin our random number wheel to be able to get a number or a vibration that we are needing to keep an eye out for throughout the week so that we can start building our awareness of the vibrations around us and our own vibrations and how they are interacting with each other and impacting each other. Because from awareness, then we can start being intentional in how we are using our energy and our vibration. Um, oh yeah, every time, Judy. Like you just have all of the Eminem songs, which is fine. It's great. Add them all. So last week we were keeping an eye out for 471. Um, this had a longer explanation because 471 is part of this, I don't know what to call it. It's this vibrational triangle where the vibration of 1, 7, and 4 are really working together and moving a whole lot together right now at this time. Part of it is that Uranus and Gemini, which that phrase equals 174. But for 471 in particular, it is really focused on a couple of themes. Man, I used every color. What color am I going to use now? Let's see. It's focused on a couple of themes. It's really this story theme about something new coming in, whether it's a new person, a new thought, a new behavior, something that you have not had awareness of before. now coming into the space and bringing that awareness and it being related to time, because 47 is the numerical vibration of the word time. Whether whatever new came in, it's impacting how much time you have, or you need to give it time, grant it time, or that it is showing you how to distribute your time. It's something around time. So that's really what we were working with this last week. And then this week, we will spin our wheel again at the end of this live to get a new vibration of the weeks to focus on this coming week. Cool. All right. So that's that. Let's go ahead and look at the phrase we outside. Yes, let's look at that. And then we'll go to retrograde season and all of that. Anything else to add? I have one slot open for any topic, a number, a phrase, a word that we could add in here while we're here at this list. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So, oh, hey, your numbers are usually are supposed to come through on Saturday. What? Oh, man. Okay. Well, I'll leave that space open. So when we can get those from somebody, we will get them in here. I know. Usually Saturday you're fine. It's so odd that numbers don't want to come up in my chat during my live. What it's really crazy. All right, but let's look at this phrase we outside. And it's interesting that this is a phrase we're looking at. Thank you so much for being here. Oh my gosh. Midnight. Oh my. I'm so glad you're here. I saw so that may be what goes, and I knew there was a space here for something cuz I saw your question in Discord. I've just been all over the place this week. So I'm so glad you're here so we can chat about it. But that's what can go in this fourth spot. So remind me what your question was, Kylie. I know it was about the World Cup final and the number 19. Actually wrote some stuff down. Oh, and oh yeah, Lamine. Being 19 and wearing 19. But remind me if there was anything else. Just the number 19 and the World Cup. I'm going to put that here so I can remember. Because it's good to remember some things. Some things just forget. Had to preface with that. Okay, I like to remember, but not all things. Some things just goodbye. They can leave. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we'll do the number 19. Yes, he wears 19 and he's 19 years old. Okay. So when we get to yours, um just let me know if there's any parts that I may have missed. So what we can do is we'll look at 3 and then we'll look at 4. Um yeah, so we'll go 3, 4 and then back up to 2. Cool. Oh yeah. Yeah. I saw a story about that, about how Messi met. They met when he was a baby. Okay, that's crazy. All right, we're going to talk about all that. We need to include all of that energy in that discussion. So we'll get to that here in just a moment. That there's some really cool vibrations in there. So that'll be a fun one to look at. I thought about, like, do I want to, like, look at the vibrations of the verses? I don't think so. I was like, no. I don't. I didn't even really want to watch it, especially not after like the first maybe 10 minutes. I was very disappointed, but we can look at any of that if anybody wants to. I don't think there's anything that's hidden. All right, let's look at this phrase. We outside. Oh, yeah, no. I missed all that. I'm so glad I missed all that, Judy. Because I couldn't. No, thank you for real. All right. So, we actually had a special message that I posted on Wednesday, I think. And that message is actually what um had me up receiving messages from like Tuesday night all the way to Wednesday night. It was insane. But it was a really important one, and it's around the use and definition of we. And so we will look, I'll give you a recap of that here in a minute. Um, but let's first look at this word outside and see what is vibrating there. What does this feel like? So, oh my gosh. No, I don't have my sign of which side it's on. So, on one of these sides over here, you see our little code book where we will assign each letter its vibration so we can get the vibration of the word. A is 1 all the way to Z is 26 in the English alphabet. If we're looking at a different language or another language, we have to get a new code. So, all right. Okay, so um out is 15 plus 21 plus 20, which is 56. And then side is 19 plus 9 plus 4 plus 5, which is 37. Okay, I don't think that matters as much, but we need to see the 56. Um, okay, that makes sense why. All right, so 56. So to start with here, this 56, for out is also the numerical vibration of light, the word in English light, and also the English word healing. There must be several people in here that speak multiple other languages, because I keep getting the message that I need to make sure I'm saying in English. So with any other language, um, you'll get a different vibration. And really what it is it's just the same as like with a word, where you have to do the translation in between. So the vibration is giving you similar stories based on the definition of that word in that language. Okay, so there you go. That answers somebody's question. So first out, it's light and it's healing. And if you think about like light, you can be a light, like this little light of mine, and have it be shining outward to attract in. Light is for attracting in. And what are you attracting in? It's to give some kind of healing. Now, I think the thing that needs to be remembered is that all vibration is neutral, where it encompasses everything that we would perceive as positive and also everything that we would perceive as negative in that same vibration. So when we think about light, this can be, oh, we're using the light to attract in, um, to get something good or to give something good. But it also can be because we also use light on like all those insects to jack them up. So we have to make sure that we are very clear about what light we are putting out to attract in and why we are using light to attract in. And it goes same for healing, because healing happens when you are able to um change your vibration in some way. But healing usually needs to happen because there's already a wound there. There's something that needs to shift or something that needs to change. And so we're attracted to that change. But again, that's not always the right thing or the good thing or what we would perceive as positive. Because you can be attracted to different spaces and different people, feeling like it's bringing you healing, but you're not yet wounded. So you end up in that space or around that person, and you first get wounded in order to then receive the healing. So, well, damn. Well, okay. Oh, okay. So yeah, that is happening. That message is coming through loud and clear. So we have to remember that the light that we're putting out or the offering of healing can go both ways. So, uh-huh. Yeah. Uh-huh. Okay. And then if we look at the whole word outside, so outside altogether equals 93. And 93 is the numerical vibration of the planet named Saturn. And Saturn is the planet of structure, responsibility, Responsibility. I can spell. I don't know if you can read it, but I can spell it. But Saturn also is associated with karma. So, saying outside, vibrationally, what this word is holding is that a light or a beacon is being put out into the world, or a opportunity for healing is being put out into the world. Whether that's a lighthouse trying to bring you to shore, or it's a bug catcher trying to zap you and take you out. Yeah, huh. But regardless of why you're putting this light out, like out into the world, or why you are following the light, you have to take responsibility and see how it is associated with your own karma. How is it history repeating itself, or this energy coming back to you? A lot of the times, and especially in this context, um it's something that you did or said that is drawing that energy back in. And so that's this cycle of like, what is the light that you're putting out, and what is it drawing in, and what's the reaction, and then again, what light are you putting out, and what is it drawing in, and this around and around, which is fine, but make sure you're taking responsibility for how that is happening. So, oh, yes, exactly, Judy. That's a great example. Yes, that's light and healing right there in that comment that you mentioned. Um, and also remembering that even if we are putting this light and healing out, and we have the best definitions and intentions where we are seeing it as a positive thing, there's always going to be somebody that is perceiving it in a negative way. There's always somebody that's going to see it as a bug getting zapped, or receiving a wound that now needs healing. And we have to take responsibility for all of it. That's fine. We just take responsibility for all of it. And that kind of goes with what that video I put out. And you could see it. It came out on Wednesday, and it's titled A Special Message. So when there are some of these important messages that are coming through, that's when you'll see those kinds of videos from me. When it's a special message, it's one that you need to pay attention to, that it's a very dominant vibration that's happening in our space right now and could be impacting you and people around you. Um, Thanks for being here. Yeah, we're talking about your phrase. We outside. Thank you for being here. It's good to see you. Uh, but then if you get, so special messages are just something important for you to be able to get. If it is a true warning and it feels like there may be some of those that are coming in, if it is a warning, I know. And I'm usually always lurking yours. It's a good exchange. um if it is a warning, I will clearly say this is a warning. I'll make it more urgent for you to pay attention to. Okay, so just saying that. So that special message is out there for you to watch. But really, what it was talking about is making sure that you were clearly defining what we is. that because when we add it up, well, first, this W is 23. It's the 23rd letter in the English alphabet, which is the same as I am. So when we are using the word we are highly attaching it to ourselves and our identity. And so we need to make sure that we are using it in the context of you and I together, not you are my identity or I am your identity, because that's the message that was coming through, is just to be very careful with that. And it goes into looking at how, like, the contrast between the word we, which is, it equals 28, and the word me, when you are specifically talking about yourself, which is 18. And so making sure that you are very clear and you make it clear to those you're speaking to who that we includes, like us together. And this had a lot to do with the building of these new communities, these new families that we're meant to build. We're supposed to be building something new. And if we're not careful, though, we can end up building something that we think is new, but it's actually just perpetuating the same as what has already been there. If we're creating a community or a system where it's a hierarchy of what's being, the energy that's being given, but also the energy that's being received, that's not any different than what we have now. And we've already seen that that's created towers that are falling. So it's just bringing awareness to needing to make sure that we are using these terms and the definitions very clearly, so that we can build what is meant to be built here in the future and not recreate any of the old that has actually done us no good and has harmed us greatly. So let's move this down. So I'd suggest go look at that special message when you have a moment. So the whole phrase "we outside" is then 28. There's that 8 of karma, plus 93, which is that vibration of Saturn that also is karmic. So we've got a lot of karmic, reap what you sow, history repeating itself, creating a cycle energy here. And when we add these together, we get 121. So not only do we have all of this 8 energy, this karmic energy, this repeat what you sow, this energy and feeling of, oh, tit for tat. And like we said, with that light and that healing, that could be everything positive that comes with that and everything negative that comes with that. And we just have to take responsibility for both. But not only is there all of this karmic cycling energy there, but we also are creating a portal. And this portal, oh my gosh, I used all the colors, is taking all of this new energy. And remember, we're in a 10-year. We're in a 10-year, so there's a lot, dare I say, a shit ton of new energy in our space. So it's all of this new energy, new things that are said, new things that are done, that are actually creating this portal and bringing forth this two. It's amplifying and bringing forth this two. And this two is really supposed to be about ending divisions. this is the energy that we are supposed to be using in order to build those communities and the families and those spaces and groups that are really supposed to be dominating now, that are different than they were before, and are ending all of this polarization and the dualistic nature to be able to get there. But we have to also remember that we get 2 from an 11, and the 11 is even here with both of those ones. So it means that the 11 of division is necessary. There has to be at some point where there is a division being made. There is a line drawn in the sand, and there is a separation that has to happen in order to get to the place where we're getting to that 2, where we're ending division. But the goal should be to end the division. It should be to create a unified space that is building something new. So all of these old towers, because we've been getting that message about towers falling, and the old ways of doing things coming down. We also are just stepping into Neptune retrograde, which means the illusions are falling away. The curtain is being pulled back on who we thought was the almighty powerful Wizard of Oz, and we're finding it's just a guy. That everything they said about him's true. But how are we making sure that we're using all of these revelations as the illusions fall away, as the towers fall, to get to a place where we are ending division and not perpetuating it? Good one. This was a great one. That was fun. But yeah, go and look at that special message that I put out on Wednesday, because it deep dives into this conversation about the use of we and how we are defining it and making sure that we're using it in a way, because this we also is 28, that adds up to a 10. So that's where a lot of that new energy is coming from. So we want to make sure that we are in awareness, so that we are intentionally using the energy in a way that's going to be for our greatest good and the greatest good of those around us. Good one. Oh, you're welcome, Judy. That was a good one. All right. So, let's see. Okay. So we looked at we outside. So now let's look at this number 19 and the World Cup final. Very interesting. Very interesting stuff. Thank you so much, Kylie, for this question. Because it was fun looking at this. And usually what I do when I get questions like this outside of the live, I'll do a little bit of digging to get us some information that we need. But then I'm looking at the vibrations in real time right along with you. So any questions or ideas or epiphanies that come about as we're talking about any of these topics, please do include them in the chat, because it does add. Okay, let me make sure to get some water. I'm telling you, this energy, the way it is moving, it has got me talking fast, moving fast, and then I just keep crashing out. And I don't really sleep, but this week, oh, I've been sleeping. I've been sleeping way too much. Oh. All right, let me see. get some water and get my World Cup notes. Mm-mm. Mm-hmm. Okay. mm. That is so cool, Kylie. Okay, we're gonna look at it. So let's start with the vibration of 19. Because 19 is what is the main vibration that's telling the overarching story. So when we're looking at all these vibrations and what is the vibrational story or the vibrational undertones? That's a fun word, undertones of all of this that we're doing. Um, it does structure itself like a story, and that's why I describe it in that way, where there's a title of the story and there's the main characters of the story, and then you go through the chapters to be able to have the steps of the story. There is a beginning and an ending to the story, and then sometimes you get these little side characters that come in. And so when we are looking at these vibrational stories, we should look at it from that structure. And so in this case, the title of this story is 19. So the title of this story is 19, is this vibration of 19. 19 is actually a very interesting number, and it is one that is it's high, it's all over the place in my life, um and in many people's lives, for a couple of reasons. Oh, it gets spookier. It gets spookier because 9. So let me back up for a second and just say, when we are writing down the numbers or vibrations we're seeing, we write them from left to right. But when we're reading vibrations, we read them from right to left. So it means that here, 9 is the first part of this story. It happens before we get to the 1. And so 9 is an ending of a cycle. It's an end of the way of thinking, of a behavior, of something that's happened. 8, like we were just talking about, where it's history repeating itself, karma, reap what you sow, is representation of the cycle that 9 is ending. So 9 is the end of some kind of cycle, of some kind of movement of energy through the space. 1 is new. It's all new energy, whether this is a new person, a new group, a new way of thinking, a new way of seeing things. The cycle must end to allow something new to come into the space. And then um here on Earth, everything runs on a 9 cycle. So 9 cycles are used to build up the energy to manifest and create everything on Earth. Everything from a exchange of energy just in a quick conversation, all the way to actually manifesting physical matter. It all happens in a 9 cycle. This is why we see like the golden ratio, and we see things being created in spiral patterns, because it's using this 9 cycle where we go 1, 2, 3. Oh my gosh, 4. Okay, don't make fun of my circle, okay? 5. Well, that was big. That's not that big of a jump. 6. Oh my gosh, okay. I messed up. Let me go back. Let me go back. I'm gonna fix it. I'm fixing it. Don't worry. Okay, we're gonna do 5. And then 6. And then 7. And then 8. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And then 9. So I needed to write this out because 19 also represents this portion of the cycle where once we get to 9, this ending position of the cycle, we are either starting back at the same 1, or we are advancing to like a higher level vibration and going to 10. But 10 is still a 1, and there's still another 9 cycle that goes on the outside here. And then it happens again, where you can go back to 10, or you could go up to the next level. And that's that spiraling energy and how that works. And so 19 is this representation of this transition point of like you're ending this cycle, you've gotten to the end of this cycle, but what is this new? Is this new 1 going back to 1, or is it going to 10, which is an elevated level? Or is it going to 19, which is 10, 1? So you can see this is pattern is happening. Yeah. Yes. Yes, Kylie, exactly. Like those ancient languages, um so the more ancient or older a language is, the closer it is to actually pure vibration. And these are some of the ways that we can tell. So, all right, side quest. We have lots of these side quests around here. So, um, we have like this most pure vibration where it's just the pure vibration, it's neutral, it encompasses everything that we perceive as positive, everything that we perceive as negative, and great. But then, as humans, we need to be able to wrap our heads around and have some way to describe the interaction that we're feeling, what we're seeing and what we're feeling, how our interactions with this pure vibration. This is where we get our gods. This is the next level from this is numbers and like symbols. And you can see that if the pure vibration is encompassing everything positive and negative, when you get to now trying to describe that pure vibration as numbers or symbols, you have some of your own perspective and definition coming in and diluting that pure vibration. It's no longer neutral, where if you perceive a certain number as positive or negative, like 13, um it'll have a different definition for you. Same with symbols. We then actually dilute the vibration even more when we get to language and words. So in that we are trying to describe um what we are experiencing with this pure vibration or at a vibrational level, our perspective gets so caught up in there that then it's changing the vibration or the pure vibration itself. So our perspectives change our definitions, um, and it changes what this is actually representing. What is this vibration actually? A good example of this with language is like the word love, where in English, so English, there's only one. There is only one word love, and its definition has to be super broad to include all different kinds of love and every kind of expression of love. Whereas more ancient languages like Hebrew, like ancient Aramaic or like Sanskrit, they have multiple, even Greek has multiple words that mean love. So they might have, um, like 4, 5, 6. I think one of them has like 92 different kinds of love that each have their own word. And so this is how we can see where these ancient languages, kind of like the hieroglyphics and the symbols, are actually closer to the pure vibration than English as a newer, less ancient, less seasoned language. So we have to keep that in mind when we are reading these vibrations, that the language does matter. We are going to get a lot more information embedded within an English word because that one word is having to represent such a large amount of the vibration because we don't have the multiple words to define it. So, okay. That was our little side quest. This also is then really interesting to think about in like hip hop and looking at lyrics. And when we think about like the double entendre, the triple entendre, the quadruple entendre, that when you are using English, you actually can get more of those entendres in there because the words are so broadly defined, because it actually takes more of them to get closer to the pure vibration than if you are using a different language. Interesting, right? I like to think about that when I'm looking at lyrics. Because then you can find all kinds of meanings, just even within the words, not even beginning to look at the vibrations themselves. So, all right, that was our little side quest. Side quest complete. I think we leveled up. Oh my gosh. Okay, so back here to 19. So, um, 19 starts with an ending of a cycle. Something is ending. Whether it's a repeat behavior, a repeat way of speaking, a repeat event, some kind of cycle is ending. And we had at the World Cup final, we had two players that were the big time story as part of this. And I'm going to get my notes to make sure I am spelling names correctly. I did, well, we'll get there. So we're looking at Lamine. And forgive me if I pronounce any of this incorrectly. Lamine Yamal, who at the time of the World Cup final was 19 years old. And also Lionel Messi. And the thing that we're looking at here is that Lamine is 19 years old. He also wore the number 19. So here we're getting a double dose of 19 from him. Which what is happening there is that whenever we have these repeat numbers, so like when you see something that we call like angel numbers, where it's a repeating number, what that's doing is it's amplifying that vibration. So it's like putting two speakers next to each other that are both playing the vibration 19. It's making it really loud. And so then it's drawing our attention to whatever this 19, this story of 19 that is happening. The other thing, like Kylie mentioned, that's super interesting is that these two met in what, 2007? So essentially 19 years ago. And if we put their birthdays in here, one thing that I thought was so interesting. So Lamine's birthday is July 13th, which means only 6 days. 6 days before the final. So during the World Cup is when he turned 19. He started the World Cup series at 18. And by the time he got to the final, he was 19. And we'll talk about this a little bit more when we look at retrogrades and eclipse season. But when there's a shift of energy, so when we have our birthday, we are shifting our energy into that new year. When we are shifting energy, when planets are shifting their energy, it's an amplification of that energy. So this transition from 18 to 19 during the World Cup, and right before the final is also amplified. So here's another big, huge amplification of 19. The other thing is if we look at Lamine's life path number, so to get the life path number, we have to add up the year. So 2007, if we add up the 2 and the 7, it gives us 9. So then we take the month of July, which is 7, plus the day 13, plus the year, the 9, and Lamine's life path number is 29. 29 is 10 plus 19. 2026, when we add that up, is a 10-year. So it keeps going. It keeps going. Like he's like bringing this 19 energy on a whole nother level. On a whole nother level. Um yeah. Isn't this cool? Love it. And there's still more. And there's still more. It's very cool. So, this 29 for his life path number, it means, so this is an 11 to a 2. It means that a big part of his life purpose, what he's meant to bring to the world, is around pointing out the divisions that are happening. This 11, like we just talked about. So we just talked about the divisions and ending the divisions. He is meant to point out the divisions that are happening. Where is the polarization? Where is the duality? And bring the energy to be able to end those divisions, to get back to a place of unity. That's actually his vibrational purpose based on his life path number. He also has this 9 in here. He was born in a 9-year. He has the 9 sitting right here. So this energy of 9 is very strong here also. If we go over to this other side and look at Messi's, so Messi's birthday is June 24th, 1987, which means when they met in 2007. When they met in 2007 in September, because this was September 2007, Messi had just made this transition from 19 to 20. So here's 19 being amplified again as part of this transitioning of years for Messi in this moment. Like, you can't make this shit up. Like, this is like intense. Like, this is one of those God, the universe, a higher power orchestrated this and laid it out to be played out to learn the lesson. This is why prophets and religious and spiritual leaders, including Jesus, speaks in parables, speaks in stories, because there's lessons to be learned. So when this story is told, this story of 19, this is the embedded lesson. This is the bigger story. That not only have they had these interactions, but 19 is all over the place here. Also, because you know there's always more. If we look at Messi's life path number, so if we add up 1987, we get 25. So if we do June is 6 plus 24 plus the 25, this all equals 55, which is a 10 and a 1. But look, we're making an interesting transition here. We're transitioning from the leadership of the 10 to energy going to the 11. So the energy is transferring from the 10 of Messi to the 11 of Amin. Yeah. 10 to 11, which is wow. Insane. Insane. But then we also saw that in 2022, which was the previous World Cup, Argentina was the winner. Argentina. So it's ending that dynasty as well. So that dynasty is ending. And then like you were saying, Kylie, like that cycle of, yeah, the cheating and the just the attitude is coming to an end. And not only is it coming to an end, but it's meant to bring more harmony and unity by bringing what was divided back together. It's meant to bring the world back together. Because we also saw that it was in the United States where there's been always been a great separation between the United States and the rest of the world, but the rest of the world was able to come into the United States, Mexico, and Canada and actually see it for themselves so that there could be an end to some of the divisions. Oh, hi, Doc. It's so good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Please let us know if there's anything that you need. So, this is like pretty insane. But there's still actually more because uh the World Cup final this year was on July 19th, 2026. Yeah. And if we get the vibration of that day, so here's that 19 again. They're bringing an end to a cycle. And it's this story is being amplified so loudly so that the most people possible are able to hear it, are able to receive this message that the end needs to happen so that the new can come in. Yeah, it was on the 19th. It was on the 19th. So the new energy can come into the space. We also keep getting all of these messages that we need to build a new community and new family in a new way. And then that's being powered a lot by Pluto in Aquarius, where Aquarius is the energy of power to the people. And Pluto is transformation. So there's a transformation in the area of power to the people. And this is happening at the same time. You can't tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing. Who planned this? Who planned it? We also saw, like, at the halftime show of the World Cup, that there was this transitioning of happening of old artists like passing on the baton to the new. So we didn't just see this cycle happening in that on the field with the player space, but we saw it in the halftime show. We also saw it in where all the World Cup was happening. The United States in that North America space is known as the New World. Europe and the rest of the world came over to discover the new world. The old is ending and the new is beginning. Cannot make this shit up. Can't tell me nothing. But here's okay, hopefully this is the last thing. Is this the last thing? Okay, we're just gonna do it and then we'll see. But I think this is the last thing. Maybe not. So if we want to get the vibration of this year or of this day, we first get the vibration of the year, which is 10, and then we do 7 for July, 19 plus 10, which gives us 36, which is a 9. And yes, I show speed. Yeah, that was amazing, right? No, you're right, Judy. It probably isn't. You know how you know how it goes around here. So here's this 9 again of 19 of bringing in this energy of needing an end. But the other thing is that energy cannot be created or destroyed. That's all vibration. Whether it's actual something like physical something, we recycle, it turns into something new. There's the water cycle, there's like energy is not created or destroyed, which means if we are meant to end a cycle, um really it's the same energy that is able to end something quicker than anything else. So, yes, we can use new energy to end a cycle, but that cycle is not completely what we would call destroyed unless it is being transferred to an exact energy. I say all that because the 2022 World Cup final in Qatar was December 18th. That's a little too close to 19 for my comfort. 2022. But if we get the vibration of this day, we have 2022 goes to 6. So then if we do 12 for December plus 18 for the day plus 6, this equals 36 also. So what started the cycle of Argentina winning on the previous World Cup in 2022, the cycle was created in a 9 vibration and the cycle ended in a 9 vibration. So it's a pure and full transfer of energy, full destruction. So that all of that energy now is going towards the one of something new. Isn't that crazy? This is wild. But this is one of those historical moments that vibrations were like when it's so strong that you can't deny it. You cannot deny it. Exactly. Exactly, Kylie. So this should be the ending of it. When a cycle ends, so like in hip hop, when that party dies, anybody that's still operating in that old cycle, acting like it didn't end, become really obvious and extra goofy looking. it's very clear that they're operating in this old cycle. And so it'll be interesting to see as we move forward with FIFA, um, what does that look like? Who are the players that are going to come out? Not just the players on the field, but in this story that are going to keep trying to hold on to this old cycle, and it's going to be very clear that because the cycle is done, the illusion has fallen, there's no second guessing. We're moving on to something new, and if you're still doing something old, it's going to be very obvious. The last thing that I found pretty interesting is the two teams themselves. So similar to what we just saw with the dates, that the Argentina team became an official team and had its first game in 1902, which is a 12. And the Spain team um had it formed and had its first game in 1920. Telling you, can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. So a perfect transfer of energy here as well. There's too many perfect transfers of energy, and if we dug more, I'm sure we would find more. I'm sure we would find more. Probably between like Scotland and Boston. Oh, and like all these teams that were coming and were in Mexico. Like we see this pure transfer of energy, and this 12 is a change in perspective. So the ending of these cycles, so to get back here, not here, that's too far up, but to get back to the whole story that's playing out, it is this story of 19, the ending of a cycle, the ending of a repeated cycle, a repeated set of behaviors, ways of thinking, and ways of doing things that is being brought to an end so that something brand new that we have not seen before can come into the space. Pretty incredible. Yes, Kylie. Yep, you got it. You are on it. You're on it. Yes. And so then if you want to continue to dig in here and really see what is this story playing out, these are the clues that you're looking for. Where is there a total and complete end to the cycle? Going into a space where it's opening up the space for something brand new. Like not a repeat of what we've seen before, but completely new. Like the new players that are just different. They're not repeating the cycles of the old regime. They're doing things differently, and they are uniting soccer and football in a way that hasn't happened before, because it's that 11-2 also that is very loud right now and playing out very loudly. Yeah, that was a good one. All right, Kylie, you're going to have to come back when you got some more like that, because that was a great one. Thank you so much. That was fun. I'm so glad you made it, because that was so fun. Mmm. Yes, exactly. And look, that 27 is a 9. It's amplifying that energy of ending the cycle. You know what else is a 9? So the name hip hop is 72, which goes to a 9. Also, a good friend of yours and mine, Koala's life path number is 27. So, ending cycles, ending the way that things are happening, the way that things are being done, so that there is space for new energy to come in, new ways of doing things to come into the space. It's very cool. Usually, okay, that's cool. So, usually, when you are seeing a repeating number where it's yeah, like 10, 10, 12, 12. Yep, all of those you listed. That's trying to get your attention because there's a bigger message that you're trying to, the universe is trying to get your attention. So, what you do is when you see them, acknowledge them, and you can acknowledge them by thinking about, writing down is even better, what you were doing, who you were talking to, what were you thinking when you saw it. Because then that'll start drawing out that bigger message. And then you come back here and you tell me all your numbers and we find the bigger message. So you can bring all of those on Wednesdays on Twitch, um, Fridays here on YouTube, or Saturdays here on YouTube. So this week, pay attention to what are you thinking? What are you seeing? Who are you talking to? Who are you thinking about? All of that. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Yep. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Okay, so let's talk about retrograde season. Hi, Tiff Tiff. Thank you for being here. It's good to see you. Let's talk about retrograde season, eclipse season, and hip hop's shift. Yeah. Judy knows the times. um, yeah. Wednesday, I think, is the earliest one. All right, so we are heading into retrograde season and eclipse season, which is impacting this shift that is happening in hip hop. Oh my gosh. So let's go here. All right. So just like we I mentioned with the birthdays, and also with the same energy, like ending things, um more of that transition of energy. So whenever we have a transition of energy, so like on our birthday, um when we are going from last year last year's energy to this new year's energy, this is would be considered a transition of energy, or a shift, a transition or a shift in energy. So this is like an energy shift. Shift or transition. I don't feel like writing transition, so I'm not going to. And every year we have a retrograde season and we have an eclipse season. Um, so more people probably know about the eclipses. Oh my gosh, if I could spell it right. There's usually two. There's usually a major lunar eclipse and a major solar eclipse. I'm just moving this over so I can put this here so I don't forget. And so this year in August, so coming up next month, we have a really big, and so usually we have a lunar and a solar eclipse, and usually one or the other is extra big and impactful. So this year it is the total solar eclipse that is more impactful, and this is happening in a year like right now where the sun has been extremely active. A lot of solar flares, a lot of um coronal holes, a lot of solar activity. And then we're having this solar eclipse. And this solar eclipse is an energy shift, a transition of energy, because during this moment, during this eclipse, we're going from seeing the whole sun to the whole sun being in a shadow. Woo! To I didn't like scribble it out. That's the shadow, y'all. It's the shadow. To then being seen again. So the each one of these is an energy shift. So on these days with the eclipses, we are getting some pretty we're getting two energy shifts. So these days have really kind of wonky energy moving around. This year, this total solar lunar eclipse is happening on August 11th or August 12th, sorry. August 12th, 2026. Um but the day before, August 11th, 2026, is hip hop's birthday. Hip hop's birthday. So hip hop is having one of these energy shift moments for itself. The day before, everybody's getting this total solar eclipse energy shift. Creepy, right? It is just creepy. This relates also to the shift that we're seeing and we're preparing for in hip hop as a whole. Let me see if I had to pull it out the other day. So let me see if I can find it again. Here we go. We have this divine triangle, which anybody that's been here probably more than once has seen me talk about before. But this divine triangle, it looks at your vibrational transitions throughout your life. And this works for anybody or anything, any group of people that have a birthday. So hip hop does have a birthday. And so we can use this divine triangle. Oh, hi on deck! It's so good to see you. Thanks for being here. So, when hip hop has its birthday this year on August 11th, it'll be making a transition from 52 years old, right here, to 53. The shift and big, huge transition that we are feeling in the space of hip hop is right here at 54, which will take place in 2027. So this shift from 52 to 53 is getting us closer to this bigger shift in hip hop in 2027. Four, I love that on deck. You crack me up every time. Um, for a quick recap, and for anyone that hasn't seen this divine triangle before, when you're in your youth years, which is from birth until age 27, you are traveling around and you are using your life experiences and your vibrations to build your identity. For hip hop, identity. Hip hop made this transition from youth until power. So it had all of this time building its identity from 1973 all the way to the year 2000. I think, honestly, Kylie, I think Kendrick will drop actually in between this space, in between 53 and 54. So between August 2026 and August 2027. Because his energy is highly tied to helping hip hop shift into this space. So it would make sense that he would add that energy to help this shift happen before it happens. So before hip hop's next birthday. Yeah. So youth is to build your identity. Hip hop has been in this power space, which is from 27 until 54. And when you're in these power square years, this is when you are strengthening your identity. And your identity is getting strengthened through trials and tribulations. So these are the tests of, is this who you really are? So all of these discussions about who's authentically hip hop. Is there an authenticity that needs to be required in the hip hop space? That's all this strengthening. The pulling away of illusions and curtains, and you actually seeing people, but also hip hop for who it is. Not just who we believe it is, not no more of the illusion. All of that getting stripped away to the pure core of the hip hop identity is what's happening in this power square. This is all in preparation to get to this wisdom square, where wisdom going from 54 over back over here to the start of 81, this is when you are sharing your identity. Sharing your identity is legacy building. So hip hop is preparing to build its legacy and share its legacy. That's why in these last few years in this power square, we need a lot of fall off. Anybody, any ways of thinking, any ways of being, and the things that are being done um within hip hop are going through the last of these fires. So the biggest, strongest fires to burn away anything that is not pure, that is not authentic, that does not need to be part of the legacy. History is always part of the legacy. So things falling away from the identity is not ignoring or getting rid of the history. The history is always going to be part of the identity. It's always part of the legacy. But the true legacy is the story of how the identity was built, how it was tried, all of the tests and trials and tribulations that it went through to be able to come back out on the other side and be seen as pure wisdom that can be shared with the world. So, do not think that legacy building means erasure of the history. That is not what it is. It's the parts of the story that need to be the loudest. What is the victory at the end of the trials and the tribulations? That's the legacy. So the legacy is being built. To give you an idea of what this wisdom square looks like, the group of people that we could call African American, it's really anybody that would be associated with African ancestry that was enslaved in the Americas. That nation of people that just had their birthday on June 19th. Oh, there's that 19 again. Just turned 161, which means that that whole nation of people is getting to the end of this wisdom phase. It's almost done building this whole new identity of legacy. When it's groups of people like hip hop or this African American nation or a country like the United States, when it passes this point of wisdom and going into youth again, is when you start building a new identity. But think about how the behaviors of this African American nation has been very different in the last like 9-10 years. It's because it's legacy building and preparing to now assume a new identity. To give you a contrast to that, over here, so the United States just turned 250 years old, and that's right here. So the United States is in this place where it is building its new layer of identity in comparison to the African American nation, who is almost done building the legacy of its most recent identity and preparing to add to that identity with new identity markers. And then we have hip hop that's preparing to move into that wisdom square. So we can look at what has happened to this African American nation in these last 27 years and see that that's what was happening in that wisdom square. And so then that's what we would expect to see um, in the hip hop space as well. So a lot of transition of energy is the point. And then we have where is it? Oh, there you go. Not only do we have hip hop having its birthday and having this energy shift, we have these total lunar eclipse, this total solar eclipse, and then a lunar eclipse that is happening that's shifting energy. But also, we are moving into retrograde season. Hey, where did you come from? I don't like it when you just be coming around without asking weird things. Sorry, I was yelling at my whiteboard. But we also have retrograde season. Retrograde season is a time of year, and there's one every single year, where we have a large number of planets that, from our perspective here on Earth, are moving in the opposite direction. When they are moving in an opposite direction, it's giving us a new perspective, and it's asking us to use our energy in a new way. New perspective. But part of assuming that new perspective and doing things in a new way is this RE, which is review, remember, any of these REs. I guess it could be repeat if it's good things that you want to repeat that has worked for you. Any of these. So this is how you use the energy to step into this new perspective. As you review what has already happened, you review and you remember. This is how it's helping you to get into a new perspective. And this is also an energy shift. This retrograde season is even more powerful than in years previously. So, like last year, retrograde season was a big deal, mostly because we had like we had like 6, 7, 8 planets that were retrograding at the same time. This year, we don't have as much overlap with these retrogrades, but it's because so many planets have made really big transitions. So when we have an eclipse, it's a transfer of energy. When we have a birthday, it's a transfer of energy. When we have a retrograde, it's a transfer of energy. And when we have any planet move into a different sign, so when it's like we just had Jupiter. So Jupiter at the end of June moved from the sign of Cancer into the sign of Leo. This is related to hip hop very highly because hip hop has its sun in Leo. So the way that hip hop's mind works is in Leo, but Leo is also this sign, the energy of creativity. Creativity. So when we have this shift of signs where a planet is moving from one sign to another, this also is an energy shift. So where the majority of the big, huge energy that we're feeling right now, it's coming from these planets changing signs. Because they don't usually change signs at the same time as each other or so close to each other. So just this year, we have had well, to give you a little bit of perspective, we have these three different sets of planets. We have our individual energy planets, and these are very fast moving. They change signs quite regularly. They move really fast. So that's like Mercury. They also retrograde very fast. So Mercury, Venus, Mars. Then we have these like middle range. These are like group planets. Their energy impacts us as a group. And these are kind of like medium speed. Medium speed. This is Saturn and Jupiter. And then we have these generational planets. So it impacts us as a generation. And these are extremely slow moving planets where they are in a sign for 10, 12, 15 years. A long time. This is Uranus. Yes, you could say Uranus if you want to giggle. Neptune and Pluto. So we are used to feeling these individual planets moving, signs, retrograding quite often. This is the energy we're used to. We feel it when these group planets change sign or retrograde. We definitely feel it. We just don't feel it for as long. But when these generational planets change signs, oh, we feel it big time. Like majorly. We just saw that Jupiter changed signs from Cancer into Leo. This just happened in the end of June. In this was in, I believe, November last year. So not that long ago. It might even have been sooner. No, but I think it was November. So we'll put November 2025. Saturn moved from Pisces into Aries. This is end of June 2026. In January 2026, Pluto moved from Capricorn into Aquarius. In February 2026, Neptune moved from Pisces into Aries. Here recently, July 2026, Uranus moved out of Taurus into Gemini. And we still have these individual fast moving planets that are changing signs every about a month. So you can see every single planet is impacting us with these energy shifts right now. With these transitions from one sign to another. Then we have the sun and the moon that are impacting and giving us energy shifts with their eclipses. Then and the sun and the moon are changing signs quite regularly. Then we have the planets also giving us energy shifts with their retrogrades. So we have a ton of amplified energy in this year. There are a lot of things shifting and changing. And what we want to focus on is make sure that one, we are aware of the shifts and the changes that are happening in our individual lives, in the groups that we're in, including communities and families, but also the changes that are happening at a generational level, like a whole country and the whole world. It's like literally everything is changing. We need to be aware of it so then we can be intentional and be intentional in making sure we're contributing to whatever new is coming in. Just like we talked about with 19. It is time for those old cycles, the old way of thinking, the old way of interacting with each other, the old ways of thinking and being and believing to end. And for something brand new to come into the space. We are not meant to create something new that perpetuates the same cycles, systems, behaviors, thoughts. We are meant to be aware enough of this energy and what's happening in the space right now to be able to intentionally change it completely. Change our definitions of words that we are using. Change the way that we are doing things, the way that we are interacting with each other. The new communities that we're meant to build, they should not look like what communities have been in the past. They should not be defined how they have been in the past. Yes, we can take good parts that were serving everybody, that were positive, that were helpful. We can take those parts with us. But looking exactly the same and doing things exactly the same, no more. Done. Let it be done. Let it end. And in the hip hop space, if hip hop is truly meant to shift, any of those terrible things that we do not want to be part of hip hop's legacy, we need to let go. Let it end. The party is dead. Let it die. Bury it. Let it have its history. Keep your memories, but let it be done. Let it be done. That is the energy of right now. That is the season we are in. And we're going to keep getting these messages all the way until we get to that 2027 and probably a little bit after. So from now and for the next probably 3 or 4 years, the biggest thing will be about shifting hip hop into the new legacy hip hop, something brand new. Celebrate what was, have memories and enjoy what was, but we can't recreate it. It's not supposed to be. Even if we try to be recreate it, then we're going to be seen as one of those people that's trying to perpetuate the old cycle of things, and we're going to get called out. Because it's going to be very clear that we're holding on to that old and not allowing the new to come into the space. Well, okay. I didn't plan for all of that to happen, but there we go. That's what we have with retrograde season, eclipse season, and hip hop's shift. Oh, and woo! When August hits, I'm telling you, August, well, really, it started in July. So when Jupiter at the end of June moved into well, really it was Uranus and Jupiter that moved spaces. Woo! It started a cycle of some huge energy shifts in hip hop. I'm excited actually because August, September, October, huge things in those 3 months in particular. But then all the way up and past that, August 2027. Amazing. Amazing stuff is coming. Allow it to come in. Allow it to be. So exciting. Oh, good. I'm glad you liked it, Kylie. It's exciting. I think it's actually very exciting. And it's really exciting when we can be in awareness. Because when you're aware of what's happening and what's moving and what's coming in, now you can be intentional. You can actually be an intentional part of the change that's happening. You could be an intentional part of the shifts that are happening, which is so exciting. So I guess that was our theme for today. Because just about everything we talked about was right up that same alley. Thank you, Judy. I'm glad. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Because, yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting. Okay. So I think we are ready to spin our wheel. Are we ready to spin our wheel? So it's time to spin the wheel so we can get a new random number vibration to pay attention to, look for throughout the week, so that we can build up our ability to be aware of those vibrations, how we are interacting with them, and also how they are impacting us. So let me get our wheel. Oh, there's our number from last week. Okay. So last week we had 471 was our random number that we were looking for. So here we go. Let's spin that wheel. Woohoo! Big money, big money, big money, big money. I always think that every time I spin the wheel. It's hilarious. Whoa! That's actually very telling. Wow. Okay. So let me get back over to the whiteboard and make sure you all can see what the heck I'm doing. Yep, we got a portal. So I don't know what's about to happen this week, but man, something amplified, something big is coming into the space that we got to pay attention to. So I think it's also very telling that last week's number was 471, and now this week's number is 474. And so what we want to look for is actually this vibration. So you want to look for this number, pay attention, and look for where you see it. Do you see it on license plates? Do you see it on your receipts or wherever? Wherever there is numbers, which is really everywhere, you want to look for this number. And you want to make sure, just like I said, with when you're seeing repeating numbers, what you want to do is when you do see this number, you want to make sure that you are paying attention to what are you doing, who are you talking to, who are you thinking about. So then you can see the themes of this vibration and you can understand how this vibration is impacting you, but also how you're impacting this vibration. So, the first thing also is that you can also look for different themes. So, we had the theme of time last week because time is the numeric vibration of 47. We have time again this week. So, there's something with time, gaining time, something what you're doing with your time. And this could be stuff that we're doing, what we're seeing in our own lives, but it could also be what we're witnessing, or you're seeing just in general. So there's something with a time limit. And actually, this is feeling very strong at a bigger group level, like a time limit, something with a time limit. The other thing is this 74 is the numeric vibration of the word energy. But it's also the numeric vibration of the word trauma. So we want to keep an eye out for that for sure, that there's some kind of energy moving in around time or through time that some will see as traumatic and others will see as healing their trauma. Woo, that's crazy. And then on top of that, we have a portal. So when we have a portal, it's whenever we have any vibration that has the same vibration on either end. Because when it's the same, it wants to be near each other. And so, because those fours want to be near each other, it's creating this portal that is amplifying this 7 in the middle. 7 is uh it's a vibration of action in flow, meaning that it's taking action but at the right time and in the right way. So actions, pay attention to the actions people are taking, the actions that you are taking, and really make sure that things are happening in the right way and at the right time, especially the right time. Is the timing right? Wow. This is wow. This is crazy. And also, if we add the 4 plus the 7 plus the 4 up, so adding these up, we get 15. And 15 is this energy of making a choice between bondage and freedom. Are we choosing, let me just move this down. Are we choosing to be in bondage or are we choosing to be freed? Cuz both are relevant, both could happen. So be in awareness and make sure that you know if the action you are taking, is it putting you in bondage or is it freeing you? Wow. this is a lot here. This explains a lot about this energy too. Because the other last thing is 44 is the vibration of hope. So it's hope that's bringing these actions. 44 is also the vibration of faith. So it's faith bringing these actions that you need to make sure is at the right time. And 44 is the vibration of the word karma. So it could be reap what you sow, energy coming back around that is forcing you to take action, and you're needing to make sure it's at the right time so that it's in flow. Wow. That's pretty intense. So we really want to pay attention to, I think, both of these vibrations that we've gotten. So last week's vibration and this week's vibration, because it is significant that they both are here with this 47 of time. So these are the vibrations we want to look for. We want to pay attention to. We want to make sure that we are acknowledging them and documenting what we're thinking, feeling, where did we see it, how did we see it, and make sure that we are discussing it. Because there's some pretty big events. Yeah. So there's some pretty big events that are happening this week related to a time or a time limit. Wow. Wow. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, on that note, man, that's crazy. Okay, if I get any more messaging around this, I will make sure to share it with you in this coming week. But please also do the same. That if you are seeing either one of these numbers, this vibration, any of these vibrational themes, please let the group know so that we can get this bigger message, this bigger set of messages that we absolutely need to have. Thank you so much for being here. This was so great. I always love seeing you all, and the right people are always here right on time. It's great. I love when that happens. This was so much fun. We learned so much. So let's close our own portal space with our closing statement. Please apply the vibrational healing you take with you and come back soon for another healing dose. Always remember, I see you, I hear you, I feel you. You are love, you are healing, you are whole. Have a wonderful week, everybody. I will see you so soon. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or just around. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend and a wonderful week, everybody. I love you. Bye.